Which Newcastle street predates the town through which it passes? Every day, thousands of people walk along Pilgrim Street. People rush to work, catch buses, meet friends, or pass through the area without considering their surroundings. But beneath the modern offices, heavy traffic and construction lies one of the oldest routes in Newcastle. Long before Grey Street became famous, and before Richard Granger transformed the city, before Newcastle existed, Pilgrim Street was here. Roman soldiers once travelled up this route, followed centuries later by medieval pilgrims, Georgian merchants and Victorian bankers. Today, a new generation of developers is reshaping the street once again. It has seen magnificent buildings rise, only for some of Newcastle's finest architecture to later disappear. Let's explore the story of one of Newcastle's oldest highways. Pilgrim Street has shaped the city for 1,000 years. Many historians believe Pilgrim Street follows one of the oldest routes in Newcastle. This slope offered one of the easiest routes north from the River Tyne, well before Norman castles or medieval merchants. The Roman river crossing of Pons Aelius led in this direction. As people followed higher ground, they formed tracks, then later streets. A town emerged around them over time. It became important as a link between Newcastle's river crossing and Northumberland. And that brought the Pilgrims, whose footsteps gave the street its name. As the Middle Ages unfolded, Newcastle has become one of England's most important northern towns. Traditionally believed to take its name from pilgrims travelling towards St Mary's Chapel in Jesmond, Pilgrim Street became an established route. The pilgrims passed through the Pilgrim Gate in the medieval town walls before continuing north and east. Nearby streets became markets where merchants would trade wool, cloth and coal. Craftsmen built workshops behind timber-fronted houses. Pilgrim Street was one of Newcastle's principal entrances. Travellers arriving here would experience the commerce before anywhere else. It was noisy and crowded. Every arrival carried stories from elsewhere. Every departure carried Newcastle's reputation across Britain. Did you know that the medieval town wall once crossed Pilgrim Street, and part of it still survives? With the arrival of the 18th century, Newcastle had become more organised. The designers transformed medieval buildings into elegant Georgian residences. New banking houses, elegant terraces and fashionable shops replaced many older timber buildings. The Industrial Revolution accelerated everything. Coal wealth flowed through Newcastle. Newcastle's wealthiest merchants commissioned elegant homes here, where banks competed to build ever more imposing headquarters. The city looked forward whilst retaining echoes of its medieval past. It became a place where merchants displayed success through architecture. No chapter in Pilgrim Street's history is more bittersweet. During the 20th century, Newcastle lost some of its greatest buildings. The city destroyed some elegant commercial blocks and historical streets. Entire sections disappeared. No demolition better symbolises this than the Royal Arcade. Designed by John Dobson in 1831, it rivalled Europe's finest shopping arcades. In the 1960s, the council demolished the arcade to make way for a road scheme. Now only photographs remind us of what once stood there. Nearby, the 1927 Carlisle house survives, but only in facade. Architects J.J. Burnett, Thomas Tate and Francis Lorne crafted a deco home for the electricity company. Ryder's modern take was to absorb it into the new government office complex. For many, Pilgrim Street became a symbol of post-war planning that valued cars over communities. Within a few years, entire streets that had stood for generations had gone. The Royal Arcade survived for a mere 130 years before demolition. I first visited Newcastle as a teenager in 1968. In Czechoslovakia, Alexander Dubček was trying to break away from the Soviet influence in the Prague Spring. Eastern Bloc forces lined up on the border, and for a moment it seemed that a new European conflict was about to flare up. On the 20th of August, Soviet forces invaded and Dubček folded. The danger had passed. On that day, I stood outside here, Frank Verity's opulent 1930s Odeon cinema. The film inside was the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, but that would have to wait until I'd finished exploring the new city. Yellow buses glided by with improbable destinations, such as Montague, no E, estate, and Two Ball Lunham. The people spoke a strange variety of Swedish, and everything moved so fast. Further down, a narrow alleyway, christened Beatneck Corridor, led to a small courtyard. It was filled with lively graffiti. My young companions here were more interested in the pub across the road, and so I didn't linger. A couple of years later, the Howell Brooks Tucker Partnership designed Commercial Union House. It's to spread across the road. Its 8 stories stood in defiant brutalism until good taste prevailed in 2022 and it came down in a pile of rubble. The end of the 20th century saw Pilgrim Street lose much of its prestige. Buildings became vacant or were replaced by car parks. As businesses moved elsewhere, the once grand gateway felt fragmented. Even so, there was still potential. The challenge now is whether regeneration can restore Pilgrim Street's role as one of Newcastle's great gateways. Pilgrim Street is being reinvented again. The Pilgrim Quarter represents one of Newcastle's biggest regeneration projects in decades. Older buildings make way for solid steel and glass, as well as public spaces. The scheme aims to combine modern offices with restored heritage buildings, bringing thousands of new workers back into an area that had suffered decades of decline. The challenge is in balancing progress with preservation. Developers have attempted to celebrate the street's heritage whilst giving people a modern living environment. Future generations will judge whether this new conversion succeeds. Thousands of civil service jobs are relocating to the new HMRC complex, bringing fresh life into the area. Pilgrim Street rewards those who slow down. Look upwards. See the stone carvings and Victorian lettering. Elegant Georgian door cases hide amongst modern buildings. Architectural scores reveal where neighbouring buildings once stood. Look closely and the streets still reveal traces of what came before. Some facades are far older than the interiors. We can see the city develop before our eyes. Generations bring new ideas and opportunities. Pilgrim Street has survived 1,000 years of demolition and rebuilding. The people who walked Pilgrim Street have changed dramatically over the centuries. Medieval pilgrims, wealthy merchants, industrialists and modern workers have all left their mark. Some buildings vanished forever, others survived, new landmarks are rising. There has always been Pilgrim Street's greatest strength. It never stopped evolving. Don't look in museums for living history. At times, it's the street beneath your feet.
Watch more from Radio Jonaphone. Subscribe to the channel. Enjoy.